So for this third breakout session, we are fortunate to have with us Miss Ashley Gould, I hope I said that correctly, Hutchinson, and Dr. Rebecca Stempel. Ms. Hutchinson is the Director of School Readiness, Parenting Family Literacy for the Beaufort County School District in Beaufort, South Carolina. She has been working in the field of education for the past 16 years. She began her career in North Carolina and moved to Beaufort, South Carolina in 2008 and continued working in the field of education. She earned a bachelor's degree in elementary education at Beaufort College and a master's in education at the University of South Carolina. In 2012, she began her work as a coordinator of early childhood education, parenting, family literacy. In 2016, became the director of school readiness. She currently oversees the district's birth to 5-year-old early childhood initiatives, pre-kindergarten and kindergarten programs, child find development screenings, evaluations team, and serves as the early Head Start and Head Start liaison for the district. Dr. Rebecca Stempel has been in education field since 2008. She's the coordinator of parent education for the Beaufort County School District in Beaufort, South Carolina. In this role, she supervises the district's Parents as Teachers programs and the Traveling Preschool Bus. She also serves on the district Child Find team and is a member of the Universal Staffing Coalition. Dr. Stempel previously worked on the district early childhood evaluation team and as a teacher in the IB PYP Chinese and Spanish dual language program. Prior to her career in South Carolina, Dr. Stempel taught as an elementary school teacher in grades K through 3 and in gifted and talented program in Orlando, Florida. At this time, participants, I present to you Dr. Rebecca Stempel and Miss Ashley Hutchinson.
Good afternoon, thank you. I'm Ashley Hutchinson, and Rebecca, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Stempel. Nice to meet you.
We are excited to be here this afternoon. This is our second time presenting at this at the summit, and it's been a really good experience and a great program for all of our school districts across the state to learn more about parent engagement. So we're excited to be here. So we're going to talk a little bit about what the Beaufort County School District Traveling Preschool Bus is. We are going to give you an overview, the purpose of what the bus does throughout the community, and how we're also using the bus this year post-COVID, and how we're really expanding outreach to the community. Rebecca, you can go. There you go. Perfect. So the purpose of the bus has been around for the last 30 years. We had an opportunity several years ago to create a bus on wheels. So really that whole concept of the classroom on wheels, in effort to prepare all children to be ready for school. When we first started the initiative of the bus actually was there to help private and community childcare providers enhance the quality of their programs. So we would take the bus out to different childcare providers. We would do professional development with their teachers in order to enhance the quality of their learning centers within their classrooms and in their centers. Over the years, the bus has now transitioned not only to still be able to do that with childcare providers, but also really provide an outreach to the community. So helping parents understand the importance of early childhood education and helping parents understand how to get involved with their child's education. Our whole goal here in the Office of Early Childhood is really to make sure that parents are their child's first teacher and most important teacher. And so the group of staff that goes out with the bus is focusing on that parent education piece, the early childhood education piece, and then also professional development for childcare providers.
When we look at our purpose for our community impact, we really focus on 5 main target areas. looking at readiness skills, social emotional skills, the basic needs of our children and families in our community, our multi-agency collaboration, and really seeking to eliminate barriers for families in our community. When we look specifically at this first target area of readiness skills, we know this is definitely an essential piece. Because the bus is essentially a preschool classroom on wheels, we focus our instruction and the information that we share to families in the community around our South Carolina early learning standards, and we share the actual South Carolina Profile of the Ready Kindergartner handout to families. And this focus on these areas of mathematical thinking, physical development, self-help motor skills, and approaches to learning are so critical, because before entering school in Beaufort County, approximately 82% of our 4-year-olds were falling below the 50th percentile or have enough risk factors that are contributing to their overall development. So thus our goal with the bus is to educate parents to be their child's first teacher, as Ashley had mentioned, to build on those parent-child interactions and to help parents learn how to prepare their child for kindergarten in these skills here that you see. So then when moving to the next target area of social emotional, this is key because now we know that we've seen 2 to 3-year-olds who were born in the midst of the pandemic who lack the experiences of other children. So for example, in those formative years when children are first developing in those early years of life, many people at the time during the pandemic were in masks. So we think how that affected children, reading facial expressions and cues, how children were affected with reading by a caregiver in a mask possibly, how they picked up on emotions or socialized with other children during that time. So our focus with the bus when going out into the community is helping children and families learn how to talk with peers, how to share, how to play with others, how to make friends, conflict resolution, and really developing an emotional understanding, how to express their feelings. So more than ever, it's critical.
So when we look at basic needs, one of our targets that we look at when we go out into the community is meeting families where they are. So it's super important to us as a district that we eliminate, we all know that students, in order to learn, their basic needs have to be met. And so the bus allows us to reach out to families and to assist with all basic needs. And we do that through referrals. So we're able to refer the families based on need to certain agencies and community partners in order to help meet those needs of the children. We know that, as we talked about, that basic needs must be met before learning can occur. So one way that we utilize the bus is taking the bus into the communities, talking with families about what their needs are, and then using our partners in order to connect those families to resources. So we talked just a second ago about eliminating some of those barriers. So talking with families is a key piece to this, and making sure you're building relationships with families. So the bus is able to bring a lot of different pieces to this puzzle of making sure children are connected to early learning experiences before they get to kindergarten. We are able to take the bus and do developmental screenings for children right there in the apartment complex or the neighborhood or in the parking lot of the Department of Social Services. We also provide hearing and vision screenings for each child. We saw a need several years ago that children needed hearing and vision screenings prior to kindergarten. So we know a baby gets their first newborn hearing screening at the hospital at birth, but unless a parent shows a concern for hearing, they don't receive another hearing screening until they're in kindergarten. Same with vision screenings. They get a vision screening as a parent shows a concern or when they arrive in kindergarten. So what we did was we purchased the OAE machine, which is a hearing machine, that same hearing machine that a newborn baby receives at the hospital. And we also purchased the Plus Optics vision screener. So that is taking the guessing out of, are you able to recognize the apple, the square, or the house? Children are not having to communicate back and forth with us. The vision machine takes a picture of the child's eyes and then screens for 5 different vision concerns. So we're able to give parents right there on the bus a printout of their child's hearing and vision screening that they're able then to take back to their pediatrician if a concern was noted. We know that one of the leading causes of developmental delay in preschoolers can be hearing and vision. And so as a district, what we wanted to do was make sure that we noted those early and got the pieces in place that are needed to correct that vision or hearing prior to kindergarten. Professional development talked a little bit about that just a few minutes ago, about taking the bus to a child care center and helping and assisting with professional development to enhance the quality of services they're providing. And then also eliminating the connection to support agencies. So if a family is living in a neighborhood where, such as in Beaufort County, we have some very rural neighborhoods, and we don't have a fantastic public transportation service. So in order for the bus to go out, and then the families coming to the bus and being connected to some of those agencies has made quite a difference for some of these families. And being able to share with the family right then and there, here's how you can sign up for Head Start, or here's how you could get connected to a First Steps program, really helps a family with making those connections to each agency. Just the other day, we made a connection that came full circle for us. And we've done this several times, but we have a new tracking system that we have just put in place for our families so that we're able to see that they started with us here at the bus in the Walmart parking lot or the Medicaid office. And we connected them to a developmental screening. So the family got to see us on a Wednesday at the Walmart parking lot or the Department of Social Services parking lot at the bus. We made a connection that these 2 children needed a developmental screening. And the following week, we saw the same family at our developmental screening process, which was wonderful because the children recognized the faces that they saw on the bus. Now they're receiving their developmental screening from the district office, seeing the same people. And then again, as we score the developmental screening and note any potential concerns, we can then refer that family on to different agencies or an evaluation team or whatever, Head Start program, whatever the family may need.
Our next focus then goes into community partnerships a little more in depth. This lists out some of the partners that we're specifically focusing and meeting with. The heads of all these agencies come together to meet to discuss the needs of the families in our community, as Ashley had mentioned, who need to be connected to services. And we discuss how these families can be served, how we can leverage resources so we are not duplicating services for our families. So for example, we have multiple agencies here who do home visitation, who use the foundational Parents as Teachers curriculum. And instead we coordinate someone to be a case manager, an agency who can take the lead with that family to manage and work with that family. We also get recommendations from other agencies as well on how to help that family get connected. So for example, the district focuses on servicing teen parents, grandparents raising grandkids, foster parents, those who might be in need of a GED or a high school diploma, any family literacy support, really any family prenatal through kindergarten, whereas some agencies might only service 0 to 3-year-olds. Our next focus with the bus turns to resources and materials for families, because every time a family comes to the bus, they are connected to a resource. Those resources consist of the following that you see here: our developmentally appropriate hands-on learning centers, our play-based take-home activities, developmental milestones and activity charts, and everything that's aligned to the South Carolina learning standards for 3, 4, and 5-year-olds, information for speech and language, cognitive, gross and fine motor, social, emotional, and self-help that we'll show you in a little bit. Many different parent handouts that focus on some of these topics, such as positive parenting, safe sleep, as well as signups that they can do right then and there at the bus for BabyNet, Child Find, or even our Parents as Teachers program, as well as other community support agencies that are out there that we can support the family with. We now have a full-time staff with a community teacher and assistant who are going out 3 to 4 times a week, and they're reaching children and families more than ever in the community. Last year, we partnered with the South Carolina Department of Education for our Readers as Leaders series for early childhood family literacy. And that was to strengthen the service that we not only provide to our community to meet their needs, but to really teach parents and to partnership together to help them be their child's first teacher and to reach those who are not connected with an early childhood program to learn those literacy skills.
Rebecca, I'm going to add something here.
Yeah, go ahead.
One thing that we really saw with our community, so in Beaufort County, we have rural pockets. And so one fun thing about the bus is that we can take the bus practically anywhere. And we're able then to take this piece of information about our district and our community to each family versus the families having to come to us. One thing that our district has realized is that families were not coming to us regularly saying, oh my gosh, help me with my child. It was a struggle. We were having a struggle where children were showing up in kindergarten, have not had any basic needs being met, or were really struggling with never being connected to a childcare program or a Head Start program. And so what we really had to do as a district is be more on the proactive side and really take what we can offer families and what our community can offer families to them versus them coming to us, because that's what was not happening. So our bus typically in a year sees anywhere from 2,000 to 5,000 children, birth to 5, and then we even see those siblings sometimes. So we'll even see the 6, 7, and 8-year-olds that come through. The fun thing about the bus also is the full circle piece that I was talking about just a few minutes ago, where we can find a family out in the community that wasn't coming to and knocking on our door, and then being able to put all the services in place that they need, as well as provide that developmental screener and get them connected to that Head Start program or childcare program that they typically would not have been connected to. They would have shown up on our door at kindergarten and say, hey, I'm here, which is great. But the proactive side of the bus has been what's really made a difference in our school district, is being able to catch these children and families earlier and helping them understand how important what happens to birth to 5 makes such a difference in kindergarten. Go ahead, sorry, Rebecca.
And what's great is that when the parents do come to the bus, our staff is easily able to pull those parents in, get them engaged in the center activities that they're working on, give them examples of how that activity builds a foundation for later developing skills. And they really model to the parent and show the parent how to use those activities and materials at home so that they can take it one step further and continue to be their child's first teacher. And on this next slide here, we'll take a look at the readiness bags that we give to our children and families to take home from the bus. We first have several brochures, both in English and Spanish, because we have a large population of multilingual language learners that we specifically want to make sure are getting information as well. So the brochures as well that we pick are specifically targeted to the needs of our community. So for example, back in 2013, when we first started tracking, approximately 62% of Beaufort County kids between birth through 5 were not connected to a local pediatrician, which in turn we saw an increase of unidentified developmental potential needs. That's why we have a partnership with our pediatricians and we give out the brochure so families can find a local pediatrician and get connected. And we even have staff members who can help facilitate that with them. Now we understand families are busy more than ever, so all the activities that we share at the bus or even activities in these readiness bags are geared for parents to easily implement at home. Something that could be done within 5 to 10 minutes during the day, and it could even be something like these motor activities here where children can work on pencil, scissor, construction skills, or even self-care. They get the items in their bag to take home. Our staff talks how to use them, and they can begin working on motor skills. We also have math skills that are focused, again, on our Profile of the Ready Kindergarten, like all the items that we send home, and focuses on all the areas you see here: size, shape, patterns, counting back, etc. But really, again, hitting home at the bus when the parents come, our team is explaining why do we use the counting bears, how can we use that to learn math, what does it promote, and how can you work on it with your child at home. Literacy is another area that we strongly focus on, and Beaufort County is greatly invested in giving books to children. The bus allows us to put books in the hands of children to build their home libraries, but it takes it a step further to model for parents how to do an interactive read aloud. What does it look like? What does it sound like? Even if the parent is unable to read, just showing how to point to the pictures and to begin that conversation of early literacy. Now we also have a picture of a Spanish book here too, because we have multi-language learners come on the bus. We have a liaison staff member who translates all this information too for our families, so we're able to reach all our families and give them the support. Here is another look at another bag that focuses on social, emotional, language, and fine motor, that also utilizes puppets, and puppets cover a multitude of domains, whether it's expressing emotions, following instructions, answering questions, language and literacy development. Puppets play a huge piece in that can be utilized with a child. Now keep in mind, some parents don't know what they don't know. They may have never experienced in their childhood reading, singing, interacting, or even using puppets in this regard. So at the bus, parents can come and learn how to use puppets for conflict resolution, for example, to help build those social emotional skills with their child. And then Ashley is going to talk a little bit about how the bus is in action.
Sorry, I had to unmute myself. I started talking to y'all and I was still muted. So what we wanted to do is give some time to really look and see the bus in action. Again, this bus has been in, this particular bus that you're going to see here has been in operation for about for the last 5 to 7 years. When we first started the bus back 30 years ago, it was a regular, typical yellow school bus that we ended up painting white. You're going to see it in the video here. But the key piece about the bus here is every early learning center that you see in a typical high quality, either childcare program or pre-kindergarten program, you see here on the bus. And the purpose of that is so that parents have the opportunity to really understand this whole learning through play concept. So, you know, a lot of people will say, oh, they're just going to childcare to play. Well, no, that's not what they're doing. They are playing while they're there, but our children learn valuable lifelong experiences through play. They also learn everything they know through play. So, you know, in my world, if we taught every single grade level like we teach pre-K and kindergarten, our children will be a heck of a lot more prepared, because they're manipulating items, they're moving those objects around, they're filling cups with sand and pouring them out to learn measurement. So it gives a hands-on learning experience through that play. So I'm going to let Rebecca play the video and then we'll talk a little bit more. How many of you remember the ice cream truck coming into your neighborhood, listening to the music and rushing out to see what today's treat? That's exactly what our preschool bus has been doing for over 20 years. In 1996, the Beaufort County School District started the initiative of the Beaufort County School District Traveling Preschool Bus. The bus became so successful that in 2015, we expanded services, created a much larger bus, and are able to accommodate more children and connect families to resources. The bus goes into neighborhoods and helps engage families in the learning experiences for all children. It allows the children to begin the love of learning from birth through high school. Parents and children are invited onto the bus for a fun, interactive learning experience where they're able to engage in their child's learning.
The bus is awesome. Totally loved it. Loved playing with all the stuff. I think it's a wonderful idea that it can actually go around and see all the different age groups of children. We really enjoyed it.
I enjoyed a little bit of time where I got to bring my children out to interact on a bus with other children, with the little activities that they can engage in.
Parents receive a first-hand experience with learning centers and how to implement learning through play opportunities. It's important that children connect to early learning experiences starting at birth. Some families do not have the opportunity to attend a private preschool or take part in early learning activities prior to kindergarten. The community relies on this bus to ensure that children are connected to resources, ready to begin school, and be successful in school each and every day. The Traveling Preschool Bus is funded through a variety of sources. Our main funding source is Title I, but we also receive local government funding and also funding through the Together for Beaufort initiative. School readiness is an important key to future school success. This bus changes lives. Early childhood learning experiences build the foundation for lifelong success.
It didn't go off. It just.
So that's the bus in action. That is one little snippet of the bus in action. What you weren't able to see were the things like the developmental screeners that we do on the bus. This is an older Bloodmobile bus that we took. So we bought the Bloodmobile, we took all the seats out of it. If you've ever been in a Bloodmobile, this bus has 2 screening rooms that are in the far rear of the bus, so that we're able then to take the children into one of those little screening rooms with a teacher and do the hearing and vision screener. Let's see, I'm gonna mute somebody. I think we've got 2 people who aren't muted. There we go. So they're able to go into those little screening areas and even receive their hearing and vision or their developmental screener right there on the bus. And we're able to give those parents those results right then and there. So that's been the nice thing about having the bus and being able to incorporate it. Rebecca talked a little bit about this year, we have added a full-time staff. So our bus in the past has gone out once or twice a week based on the needs of the community, but also because I didn't have a full-time staff dedicated to the bus. This year, the district has decided, our post-COVID, that we really need to do some more outreach with our community and get our families even more connected. So the district has allowed us to hire a full-time staff for this bus. So we now have a full-time certified teacher and 2 community liaisons that'll allow the bus to go out 3 to 4 times a week. With that being said, we will then be able to provide things like preschool morning classrooms, where we can actually go into an apartment complex on a regular basis and provide that apartment complex or that particular neighborhood the opportunity to have a regular preschool morning classroom, once or twice a week. And so, or, a couple times a month, we're able to make that stop and then have some ongoing things that are happening with those families and children. With that, we're not letting our parents go. We will be providing that service to some of our neighborhoods, but the parents are required to stay with their children. So we're then able to spend a little bit longer time in the neighborhood or the apartment complex and educating both the parent and the child for a little bit extended or a longer period of time, because the district's been, gracious enough to give us a full-time staff. With that new tracking system that we put into place, that's going to be able to track families comprehensively. So you came to the bus, we got your information, we asked and built that relationship with you for you to tell us what you need. The system will then track or keep track of the needs that they shared with us. And then we'll be able to then come back and follow up with those services and agencies. So with the Early Childhood Coalition we have, and the partnerships that we have with some of our community agencies, we're then able to track those families comprehensively. So you find them at the bus, we then follow up with their referral of, you might need a connection to a First Steps or a Head Start, but we're going to do that right there on the bus. So the bus has been equipped with 2 iPads and internet recently. And so all the family is able to fill out that Head Start application or the WIC application or whatever they may need right there at the bus. We call that a multi-agency collaboration. So when the bus goes out into the community, we are not only recruiting and giving our families information about the Beaufort County School District, we are recruiting for all agencies. And that's where the Beaufort County, our county council has then decided with the Together for Beaufort initiative, help fund the bus as well. Because we're not just recruiting for Beaufort County School District, we're trying to get those families connected to Department of Social Services and First Steps and Head Start and private child care providers. So it really allows our families to receive a comprehensive service right there on the bus. So having the bus for 30 years. Now, of course, I have not been doing the bus for 30 years, but I have been with the bus for 15 years. And a lot of what we do here in the district's early childhood program starts with the bus. So we saw a need for, I am ready for kindergarten videos. Our families needed to have some information on what does my child need to be ready for kindergarten. So in the links here below, there are 7 YouTube videos that are aligned to the profile of the Ready Kindergartner and the South Carolina Early Learning Standards, of short little videos that we send out via Facebook and email for our upcoming kindergartners and our parents, so that they can start working on those things right after kindergarten registration throughout the summer. All of our families are able to see where the Traveling Preschool Bus goes on a daily basis through our Facebook page. And we encourage all of you to come join our Facebook page so that you can as well see where the Traveling Preschool Bus is going and what's going on in the Office of Early Childhood. I encourage everybody to come visit Beaufort and see the bus in action. And then, of course, we have also our Parents as Teachers Home Visitation Program that you can see a little video of other programs that we have to offer in our district. So I know we have a little bit of time for question and answers. This is my favorite part of presenting, is the questions that I get from you all. So please feel free to ask us questions, because I think this is the part where we really get to learn from each other. I like to hear what y'all are doing in your area, and then whatever you have a question about from us. Now remember, this is my favorite part, y'all. This is where this is like where y'all get to talk with me and I get to hear what y'all are doing.
There aren't any in the chat as of yet.
Okay. You can put them in the chat box and we can read them out if you don't want to speak or unmute, but I think they are able to unmute as well, correct?
By this time, yes, they're probably able to unmute and just ask the questions outright.
Okay, perfect.
Well, if there are no questions to ask at this time, we would like to thank Dr. Stempel and Ms. Hutchinson for taking time out of their schedule to come and share with us these wonderful projects that they have going on in Beaufort County. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Participants, please be reminded that at the end of this session, at about 1:50, we will need to return to the main room where we had our opening session this morning.
Thank you.